Welcome to the Aramir Roundtable. Today is the 7th of August, 2019. I have a special guest. As everyone here knows, probably Bruno. It was well, he runs the Rhino Trade Alert Service and the new Option Mechanics trading group. But his son, Nicholas, is with us. Nick, who's been living in Paris and working for, I guess, some fund. And now you're kind of branching off on your own. So it's really nice to have you and get to know you a little bit better, Nick. So welcome.
Hi, thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone.
And before we get too far into it, just the normal disclosure that Aramir Corporation is not a broker-dealer or an investment advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Options and futures involve risks that are not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And if you'd like to read the whole disclosure, just for the recording, just pause it, or for if you're watching live, just go to the bottom of any of our web pages. So with that, Nick, you've got the share going already. So
Okay,
I'll mute myself just in case our parrot starts making some noise, but I'll be here the whole time and pop in if there's questions.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right. Well,
Thanks, Tom.
thanks.
Well, thanks everyone for joining in. So I'm just gonna preface the talk by saying that, yeah, sorry, this talk is not about options trading or anything related to options. This talk is about a solution I've built for the past year and a half with a colleague of mine that can hopefully help you build a portfolio for medium to long-term investments. So I hope you can gain some value out of it and see and share your thoughts about it. So first of all, I'm gonna maybe put this in full screen and talk about who we are, who I am, and yeah, the team behind Financial Node, the company I started with a colleague of mine. So who we are. So I'm the guy on the right, Nicolas Voisin, or Nicolas Voisin. I was the former head of risk management at Talence Finance, a fund advisor in Paris, and was there also an algorithmic trading developer. I did that for about 3 years, from 2014 to 2017, mid 2017. And prior to that, I worked within Exane. Exane is a branch of BNP Paribas, the index structuring team. So for those who don't know what index structuring is, it's building quantitative indices for institutional firms. So yeah, I've got a bit of experience in the sell side and the buy side within institutional firms. And my associate partner, or I don't know how you call it, co-founder, François Delettre, officially the CEO, was the former head of research and development and managing partner at Talence Finance, well, the same company. He has about 8 years of experience as an IT consultant for big firms, HSBC, SocGen, EDF, and 6+ years as a technical expert in building trading systems. He built the entire trading infrastructure for Talence Finance and most of the trading bots that we co-developed. So that's about it for us. So now, what is Financial Node? What are we building? What's the solution? So to put it bluntly and simply, Financial Node is a simple web app to build, backtest, and analyze portfolios. So as an algorithmic trading developer, to me, backtesting is necessary. Whenever you analyze a portfolio, you need to backtest it. So it may seem redundant for some, it's not for me. So what do we offer? We offer worldwide data of currencies, stocks, and ETFs from 60+ exchanges. We offer, because there's so many stocks and ETFs, we obviously offer multi-currency support. So if you have a portfolio that has sub-portfolio, sub-parts in different currencies, we manage that. Automatic rebalancing, that's becoming more and more prominent. I don't know if that's an English word nowadays.
Yep, prominent, sure.
Yeah, prominent, yeah. You see it with interactive brokers and many brokerage, many brokers. We provide advanced metrics, not necessarily available uh, with these brokerage apps, such as return distribution, value at risk, rolling volatility, top drawdowns, monthly returns, etc. If some of you guys are uh, advisors, financial advisors, we do also incorporate performance and fixed fee simulation, which can be great if you intend to sell the solution or tell the investment solution to clients. And for now, just paper trading, as we are not yet plugged with a broker such as Interactive Brokers. So just before going into the app, I don't know if many of you are familiar with Bloomberg, Reuters, or FactSet. If you are, obviously they all do provide that. They all provide what I've just mentioned, these features. But Bloomberg is about $2,200 a month. FactSet is a little less, it's about 2,000. Sorry, Reuters is a little less, about 2,000. And FactSet is extremely modular, but the base FactSet module is $700 a month without data. So I'm not sure any retail trader or sophisticated trader has the money, the resources to pay for that kind of software. So that's what we try to do, is fill that gap. It's enable I'd say small financial advisors and day-to-day traders to be able to build a portfolio with the appropriate tools and without spending 2K plus a month for such software.
Oh, and John asked, does your data include futures options?
No, futures options, no. Futures, we intend to incorporate futures, but options is a little more tricky. But futures, yes, it's on its way.
Okay.
So yeah, before because it's going to be kind of a barrier for most, because that's the way we function within the hedge fund I worked in Paris, Tendance Finance. I'm just going to have to show you how we approach the markets, how we view a portfolio, and that's a barrier for most. So I'm just going to take it slowly for that part. So this is the usual approach. I've taken a snapshot from Interactive Brokers, the portfolio builder. Maybe most of you are familiar with that tool, with that feature, and that's the linear view. It's the line-by-line view of a portfolio. That's how you would view your portfolio, like 90%, 99% of people do. And if I look at this portfolio, the only thing I can see is it's in French. It's the yearly return, the total return, the Sharpe, the volatility, and the max drawdown. I have no idea what contributes to performance. I have no idea what's the riskiest asset in my portfolio, what drives performance, what drives volatility, what's risky, what's not. I have no clue. And the only benchmark I can benchmark my portfolio to is the SPY. And what it seems to show is a breakdown of my portfolio by sector compared to the S&P 500s. I don't know if that's relevant information for you, not for me. So very limited risk analysis. I mean, I have the feeling if I'm building a portfolio that I'm playing darts in pitch black and I'm shooting darts randomly because I have no idea how this portfolio is going to perform. Thirdly, it's hard to modify such a portfolio. If I want to modify a subpart, you have to do it by hand. So you either have an Excel spreadsheet and you modify any subpart of your portfolio by hand. For instance, you want to reduce exposure to 10-year yields, you have to do it by hand. And most often, but I guess most of you are US traders, it's limited to US stocks, but trading is not limited to the US. There's lots more. So our approach is a bit different. So don't be scared. That's how we view the market. We view the market as trees. So this is going to sound funny, but this is how we actually trade it. Everything is a node. Your portfolio is a node, and everything within your portfolio is also a node, whether it's stocks, whether it's bonds, whether it's Commodities, anything is a node. And every node can contain other nodes. And you can remove and add nodes as you wish, dynamically, interactively. And what's more is you can analyze everything at a node level. So I can have full analysis of my portfolio, but also at every subpart slash node of my portfolio. And this enables me to really, prototype a portfolio in a matter of minutes and see what drives performance and what doesn't. And the bottom part, usually of a portfolio, represents the investable product, the stock, the bond, the ETF, the future, etc., etc. So here I just made a simple example of a portfolio containing 50% stocks and 50% bonds. And my stocks have 50% of Apple and 50% of Microsoft. And within my bonds, I have 50%, sorry, of 10-year T-notes and 50% of bonds. So yeah, it's a kind of a barrier for most, but you get used to it really, really quickly. And so, for instance, simple example, if you were to view the Dow Jones 30, you'd see here the Dow Jones and 30 stocks linked to the Dow Jones with the appropriate weights. So you can view the performance of the Dow Jones quickly and the weights of, the performance of every component of the Dow Jones. So let's deep dive into the app. So I'm just gonna reduce the size if I can. Oops. And yeah, deep dive into the application. So let's get off to financial node.
And this is web-based, right?
This is web-based. Sorry about that. This is web-based. So you can try the application, the web app. You can just click on try demo. We set up a demo account on the fly, so you don't have to enter credentials, email, and everything. So you can just quickly test the application. But I've got an account set up, so I'm just going to sign in. So I've got a few things here up and running, but I'm just going to head quickly to the workspace so I can show you, and I'm going to close this portfolio, and I'm going to create a new portfolio with you guys. So this is a portfolio. This is my portfolio. This portfolio contains absolutely nothing. I have $100,000 allocated to that portfolio with a minimum cash of 3%. These are all the settings of my portfolio. And let's say I want to add some tickers quickly to my portfolio. I want to add some Amazon. So I just import it to the workspace. Some Apple. Use the right exchange from NASDAQ. And I just click and drag and drop it into my portfolio, and it's automatically equated. So I've got 50% of $100,000 allocated to Amazon, and the other 50% allocated to Apple. And I want to add whatever, Microsoft. I just drag and drop it. And then I want to add some French stock. So I'm going to create a group node, which I'm going to name French stocks. I'm going to put that in euros because I want it valued in euros. And onto that node, I'm going to add, we're going to add Total, if I can find it. Total from Euronext Paris, that's the one. And I'm going to add OR L'Oréal from Euronext Paris. So I've created a very simple portfolio that I'm going to rename Aéromir.
Aéromir.
Yeah. There. And my portfolio, I'm going to name it equally Aéromir. And validate. Okay, so I've got my Aéromir portfolio, and now I want to test it out. So how does this portfolio perform in the past? It's back tested. So I'm going to set up, starting from 2010, initial cash 100,000, like I said before, minimum cash 3%. I'm going to put no slippage, no transaction fees. a bit of management fees, and a bit of performance fees. Validate. I can also select the payment frequency of my fees. I'm just going to leave it to annual. And I'm going to backtest. So right now, I've sent all that information to our servers in the cloud. Our servers did the calculation and sent it back to the web browser. So now, seems to be a problem. Let me just try again. That's the exact mistake I had before, trying to fix it. I'm going to create a new portfolio. I'm just going to create again. Total. Oh, let me go faster. Let's try and backtest again. Yep. Okay. Sorry, there's some kind of a glitch. So so now I've just created my portfolio, and I can view the results versus a benchmark, such as the S&P 500 with the base hundreds from the start, and the daily returns against the S&P 500 during the entirety of the backtest. I can select a different benchmark. If I want to select against the CAC 40, I can just click on the CAC 40, recalculate against the CAC 40 or any other stock, index, anything you want. So I'm just going to put back the S&P 500 total return. I can view the results I'm removed measurements in performance fees, so there are none. I can view the net asset value, the cash available at all times. I can view the correlation metrics of my portfolio, understand what's correlated, what's not. You can see my French stocks are clearly decorrelated from my US stocks. I can see also the contributions. So I've got by country, a quarter of my portfolio that's from France and 75% that's from the United States. Most of my returns come from my US stocks. Well, by asset class, there's only equity, that's not really relevant. I can view it by sector as well. So I can see the weights by sector and the returns by sector. And also, I've got this tree view approach, same tree view we had previously, but with exactly the returns of each individual node. So I know my French stocks actually contributed to 44% of my returns, while most of it came from Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft. I can view the volatility of each individual component. I can view the dividends. So Amazon doesn't distribute dividends. So I know for a backtest in 10 years, 9 years, most of my dividends came from French stocks and Microsoft. And everything is converted to USD because my portfolio is in USD, even though Total and L'Oréal do distribute dividends in euros. So we take care of that. So you know exactly how much you made from the dividends you received.
Is the exchange rate like the current rate at the time, or is it just one
Exactly.
rate? Okay,
No, it's the current rate at the time.
perfect.
So this is the portfolio global overview with accounting, correlation, contribution, etc. If you want to go at the instrument level, you just need to scroll down a bit more, and you can view exactly how each node. This is a typical TradingView chart. I don't know if you guys know TradingView. It's a pretty known HTML5 trading chart. You can check the website. It's pretty well known. And I can view with this chart any node. So I can click on Aeromir, and I can see how Aeromir performs. I can click on Microsoft and see how Microsoft performs. I can even compare different nodes. I can click on Aeromir, click on compare, and compare it to my, what is called, my French stocks. So I just type French stocks. I can see, I just click on it, and I see how my French stock performed within my Aeromir portfolio. So clearly, my French stocks aren't really well performing. Maybe I should remove them. I can even add indicators, such as correlation. I can add a correlation coefficient with my French stocks. Let's make that 252 days. And I can see, okay, my French stocks are kind of highly correlated to my portfolio. So yeah, I can make different analysis and see what's driving performance, what's not. If I go back to the tree view, I could also view value at risk concerning risk. So I could see, yeah, it's pretty equal here. Nothing really stands out. But I can quickly glance and see what's wrong, what's good, what should I remove, what should I add, and modify my portfolio accordingly. Then on the fundamentals tab, if I click on a simple stock, I can view all the fundamentals data most of you are used to. So here we've got from the 29th of June to the most recent quarter, we've got most of the fundamental data, EPS, book per share, share short per month, etc., dividend yield, PE ratio, etc. I can click actually on any node and get the fundamental data. But what's I think even greater is I can click on any node and get the metrics. The metrics is a full analysis of the metrics of that node. So I can see that Amazon has within my portfolio a Sharpe of 1 with the weights allocated to Amazon. I can see the list of drawdowns of that trade. I can see the monthly returns of that trade, the return distribution of that trade, the rolling volatility, rolling return, rolling Sharpe, the average return, the average profit on a monthly basis, and various risk metrics. But I also can click directly on Aeromir and get all the same metrics on the Aeromir level. So I can see my max drawdown was actually 24% from 2018 to 2019, beginning of 2019. That's quite a long drawdown, actually.
Do you have a drawdown chart just by chance?
No, we don't, but it's simple to add. I can add it. It's
That would be useful, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so I can view just for that portfolio the monthly returns and the usual statistics. Now, once you're so if I go back to the PowerPoint, so once you're familiar with how to build, you can just modify any part of your portfolio. So if I just want to, so let's say I don't want my French stocks, I can just remove it, rebacktest the portfolio, resend the portfolio back to, and there, bam, it's calculated. I've got all the information, and I can compare my portfolio compared to the S&P 500 and see what changed, what didn't change. Get back the correlation matrix. I can build even more complex portfolios. If I try to, let's say, add the, what we call it, it's a proxy for the Dow Jones 30. I could do a proxy for the Dow Jones 30, which is what you call the USA 30. Backtest it. Obviously, it would take a bit of more time, and see exactly how it would perform, and see where I'm getting performance, where I'm not getting performance. So let's just wait a bit. It's doing the calculation.
And while we're waiting, is it possible to change, add, or remove a node and compare that to the one before you made the change?
At this time, no. No, you have to do it. You can create multiple portfolios and compare them. So you can create, I can create like one portfolio here without a node, another portfolio with the node, and compare the performance, but side by side, not within the same risk analysis.
Okay.
So apparently, changing tabs remove the results. I'm just going to click again.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Yeah, so it's an initial release. There's still some things to fix here and there, but it's mostly stable. Just takes about a few seconds usually. But the idea is to quickly prototype a portfolio and see if it's is relevant, is it not relevant? So here, okay, this is a big portfolio, so I've got a big correlation matrix. If you want to analyze line by line what is correlated, what is not. Yeah, so obviously I've got the correlation of every node and every instrument, and I can just view on the overview, compare the portfolio to the S&P 500, highly correlated actually. View the performance, the cash available. We did contribution. We could view, okay, that's only United States by sector, how much I would, return I would get. Apparently negative returns coming from materials only, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same process, the same process. I can view everything on any level. And then once you're happy with your portfolio, so let's say we're going to go back to Aeromir, you can go and track the portfolio. So what this does is create sort of a simulated trading experience where you can actually get exactly what you should send to the market. So you can convert this sort of backtest into well, a real portfolio. So it automatically tells you what you should buy in what quantity and the estimated price you should get. And yeah, and you can obviously export the pending orders to Excel to send it to your broker. So I can just click on it, and if you have to send the brokers to, I don't know, interactive brokers or any type of brokerage, you can send directly. I think I've got other portfolios set up with way more pending orders for different exchanges, different quantities, etc., etc. And when your portfolio is, I think here is done, you just need to check. It's also pending. Maybe I have some positions here. Yeah, then you get your positions, and you can view the results day to day. And obviously the day-to-day performance, just like before. So same thing. How is my portfolio doing since the beginning of the launch? You know, okay, I did the Belgium 20 minus 3.23%. Nothing is going well. No dividends since then. The average risk is pretty much the same. Volatility, yeah, a bit more on consumer staples. Maybe you should watch that, etc., etc. Contributions by sector, by country. The same thing. It's exactly the same thing between Workspace and Track. Tracking is just it's a live portfolio. So yeah, that's about it for the app. Then obviously I'm just going to present the other parts of the app that are less linked to trading, but can give you I don't know, an idea of what you can do. So if I go into the Explore tab within equities, you can view most major indices that we've built with our tree nodes technology. So like I've shown before, the USA 30 in different currencies. So I'm just going to put it in USD. I can view the daily performance, weekly performance, monthly performance, 6-month performance, and see exactly what drives performance within the USA 30. I can do the same for the NASDAQ. Here it becomes less and less readable, too many stocks. So we added a tree map, which is quite common, where the size of each node, the size of each square is proportional to the market capitalization. So here you can clearly see that the NASDAQ 100 is clearly dominated by Microsoft, Google, maybe different shares, Apple and Amazon, different share types, and Facebook, Cisco system. And what's great is that you can really just go in and dive in and explore. I can just click on, I don't know, Cisco systems, view the charts, how it's performing, check on the fundamentals, go back to the metrics, exactly the same way. Then I can go and explore the French market, 3 months French market, financials terrible, consumer discretionary terrible, materials terrible. Okay, what's going on? Let's click on materials. I can see the materials chart. So that's the aggregation of here ArcelorMittal, Solvay, Air Liquide, and Compagnie Saint-Gobain. So I can see how different subparts of the CAC 40 are performing. I could see how the CAC 40 is performing from 2010 to now. I can view the metrics of the CAC 40. I can view the metrics of anything actually. Safran, for instance. Is there an opportunity? Anything, actually. Keep exploring, keep getting ideas. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna, sorry about that. I'm going to put myself in ne pas déranger. Busy mode. So yeah, that's really the essence of functional node. Everything being a node, I analyze everything at the node level. I'm not restricted here. I've shown everything by sector, but I'm not restricted by sector. I can make anything I want. I could make an index of pharmaceuticals, worldwide pharmaceuticals. I could make an index of world financials. So I don't have to be restricted by anything. And that's the way we did it within the hedge fund where I was at, based in Paris. The charts tab is simple trading view chart. It's a simple chart app, so you can view exactly the same way, fundamentals and metrics, but only with one ticker. So I can type Microsoft, find Microsoft, and I'll see Microsoft with the basic metrics and the fundamentals behind Microsoft. The screener, it's a bit limited right now, but I can view, for instance, if I'm looking for equity within Euronext Brussels and within a sector, well, let's say every sector, I can search for, Belgium stock. I can sort it by market cap, and then let's say I'm going to select the top 5. Then I can add it to a workspace. And then I can start backtesting that portfolio. Or I can start rearranging, doing whatever I want. I can remove consumer staples. I could add another node, add some Apple, put some Apple here, modify anything I want, and I can rename this. Let's make it something Aeromir 2, Aeromir 2, Aeromir 2, validate, and start building and prototyping a new portfolio in a few seconds. And then I just backtest it and test it out and see what happens.
It looks good. Is there any kind of alerting possible? Like, so if you're to monitor the portfolio, if something gets out of whack, that kind of lets you know?
We're working on that. We're working on that. For the tracking part, yeah. So that, if, for instance, you can put some rules, and if your drawdown exceeds like 10% or 15% or whatever value, we would send an email, we would send a warning that it exceeded a certain threshold, and so you should monitor your portfolio. But yeah, these are definitely the next steps.
Oh, good.
So
Does
we've
does
got
your
tons of.
data include like stocks, say in Australia? I know we have quite a few people in Australia and in New Zealand.
Right now we've got the data feed for 60 plus exchanges. I don't think we've integrated Australia. We've integrated for now. We're doing slowly by batch because we have to validate, filter, and verify the data. But right now we've got everything from North America and everything from Europe,
Okay,
including United Kingdom. But we're slowly integrating Asian stocks and Australian stocks.
sounds
We're
good.
doing it step by step because there's lots of data and we have to verify it. Otherwise, a backtest doesn't mean anything.
Right. And how far back does your data go?
It goes back to 2000 when possible.
Okay,
So not every stock is available since 2000, but when possible, it goes back to 2000. Right now, I've just started from 2010. But yeah, and there's everything. You can try it for free. I mean, there's a free version with which you can do, I think, 2 portfolios uh, maximum with 10 nodes, but you can fill it around and test the app and see how how
how it
how you
works.
like it or not. Yeah, how it works. So and it's also a demo account, but it just works for 24 hours and then it gets deleted. So if you want to keep your previous portfolios, you've got to register.
And how much does it cost? I see an upgrade button at the upper right.
Yeah, so we've got the free version. Oh, everything is listed here. So we've got stocks and ETFs, 2 maximum portfolios, and this is the free version. So it's this is the free version, the standard, and the pro. Uh, yeah, so there's this maximum 10 portfolios, 100 per expert portfolio, 10 years depth for the standard, and Excel export as well, etc., etc. But yeah, we're gonna add slowly, time by time. Yeah, I see currently North America and Europe, rest of the world coming soon. We're gonna add data slowly but surely because we want to verify the data.
Makes sense.
Uh, yeah. Otherwise, it's the blood of the backtest. If the data is corrupt or the data is yeah, it's not verified, I mean, it means absolutely zilch. But yeah, so that's the essence of the application, and yeah, I really hope you guys can find value. I really hope you can try and test new ideas, fiddle around with it, try something else than a classic US stock-based portfolio. Mix around some ETFs with some stocks and see how that affects your portfolio. We like to add more metrics, but we don't know how far we should go because we don't know how far the user uh, is used to different types of metrics. But if you want to add we'd like to add some beta analysis, so you can see the beta with a benchmark and how adding a future could modify the beta of your portfolio, uh, which is a concern for most portfolio managers. So yeah, that's about it. So if you
Well,
have any questions.
yeah, I don't see any more questions. Do you have a timeline yet for, I know we had the question early about futures options. What's your time horizon for adding futures like commodities?
Futures and commodities, I think I think in about within December, should be about around December.
Okay, so
Yeah,
just around the corner, really.
yeah, yeah. We should
All
add
right.
futures for sure. Options, I don't know because options is a different business. I mean, you can't really. Uh, it's a different payoff. You know, so it doesn't work the same way as a stock, as an ETF. So
The data is much more complex too.
exactly, there's a different depth and yeah. So oh yeah, and by the way, maybe I haven't mentioned this. We only provide end of day data. And that's for a simple, very simple reason, is because data is extremely expensive as a software provider, or I don't know how you would call it, a web app, SaaS service, software as a platform service.
Yeah, if you're
Uh,
redistributing data, it's expensive.
exactly. It is extremely expensive. We had talks with Bloomberg, Reuters, Six Financial. We're talking about 10K more per month if we wanted to provide data, at least for worldwide data. This is, yeah, it's a lot of money. But if it's end of day, nothing. You don't have any distribution rights to pay. It's a big business. Data is a big business within the financial industry, and yeah, we're trying to avoid that because we really want people just to build a portfolio, and we don't think for medium to long-term investments, knowing your portfolio at the minute bar or the 15-minute bar is important. We hope to bring it to an hour bar, but we'll see how exchanges. uh, we'll see how. Yeah,
Well, I think
they.
end of day for this type of tool is fine.
Yeah, that's what we thought, and it gets very complex because if you have multi currency and multi, if you got a portfolio where part of it is in Asia and part of it is in the US, it's hard to put a value, a net asset value at a specific hour of your portfolio because
Yeah, but
part of it.
which time zone are you
Close.
talking, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So right now we're doing end of day from the US because when the US is closed, everything is closed. It's the end of day of that day.
Right.
So that's the easiest approach.
Well, it
So
looks
yeah,
like you built something really nice, Nick. Really appreciate you showing it to us.
well, it's a pleasure. Thanks for letting me talk and showing you, and hopefully bring some value or some ideas to some of your fellow traders.
Right. All right. Well, is there anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I'm all good on my side.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks everyone for attending. I'll get this video processed and put online with the links to Financial Node's website, so it's easy to get to. And hope you give it a try. Like you said, there's a demo mode or a free version, two
Yep,
portfolios, small, limited, but like you said, it gives you enough to test it and see if it's something that you want to invest in.
exactly.
So thanks again. Enjoy Paris. Hope it doesn't get too hot. Enjoy the cloudy weather.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I hope so too.
Okay. And say hi to your dad when you see him.
Will do. Will do,
All
will do.
right. Well, thanks,
Okay.
Nick. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
See ya. Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.